Hello, everyone, and welcome. I hope that we are live on all the platforms. We are on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we are also on the private Facebook group, Deeple's Quantum Body Awakening. And so I hope that you are able to join us today because we have a special today. And I'm really excited about today's interview because, we are doing something different, right? And sometimes you'll see me bring on special guests. And so today is the day that we're probably not gonna do readings and healings, but we're gonna talk to our special guest because all of these guests have their wisdom and knowledge that they have gained from their journey and they want to share it with us. How can we make our life better? How can we make our circumstances and situations and challenges seem manageable? Right? Sometimes this journey of life is easy and other days it's not. But how can we break through our limitations and find our way back into a space of purpose? How can we become the master creators of our life? Today, we are talking to Lisa Winston about the 5 steps to radically free life. Lisa is not only a friend whom I've gotten to know over the last 2 to 3 years, I can't even remember, but she's an intuitive abstract artist, 5-time #1 international best-selling author, speaker, and she is the CEO of Lisa Winston Fine Art and Mom. Her work has found homes with collectors in the US and Europe, captivating audiences of all ages, including children as young as 5. Her mission centers on the transformational power of creativity. Through her art, classes, and courses, she aims to elevate, inspire, and transform the hearts and sacred spaces of individuals. Her unique and magical approach blends color, energy, and spirituality, creating an artistic experience that transcends traditional boundaries. Lisa shares her insights about living life in the creative flow on various platforms like ABC 15, LA Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, Law of Attraction Radio, Zero Limits Living TV, Authority Magazine, and more. And so let's bring Lisa to the stage because I want you to really get what she has to share with us today. And I'm really excited about having Lisa here. So hello, Lisa. Welcome.
Good morning. I guess it's afternoon where you are, but
Good. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. I know everybody always thinks I live on the West Coast in California. I'm like, nope, I live on the East Coast, all the way in North Carolina. But I know it's just as hot there as it is here. Today it's humid. Oh,
yeah. My daughter's in Portland and it's in the 90s. That's not normal.
my niece is there as well. And so, yeah, wow. So it's so good to have you here, Lisa. Finally, we're able to connect.
I see your beautiful face and feel your beautiful energy, which I needed today because, as you know, we were talking earlier and I've had some issues this morning.
And isn't it? We always have issues, right? It's
Yeah.
always something. But I
It's
know
always
you,
something. Yeah.
like you just wrote this book that launched on August 8th. And as we are dealing with our issues, we talk about it's the Creative Life book, Radical Freedom by Jessica Hughes, who's also a great friend of ours, both of ours. And let's talk about the chapter because you write in this book these 5 steps to radical freedom. And your experience of overcoming adversity and embracing authenticity really resonated with my own journey, and taking a look at our challenges, opportunities, issues, right, for growth and learning to reframe our own struggles, really seeing them as stepping stones, and whether it's technology that we were talking about or the guy mowing the yard outside while we're trying to do a Facebook Live. The teaching in this chapter is just so inspiring in so many ways. And I want people to hear your story, like your journey. You've faced significant challenges and health issues, and lost your home in a wildfire. And these experiences really shaped your understanding of radical freedom. So, how do you define it? Tell us a little bit about your story and how you define radical freedom.
I love that, but I always get nervous when somebody asks me about, my story, because I'm like, you don't want to hear all of that.
We all do. We all do. But, and everybody, that story is what defined us, right? So I always love to ask about your story because we want to
Well,
know.
thank you. And I'm going to try to make it really short. So I'm 65 right now. And
Wow. And
from the time
beautiful.
all good. From the time I was very young, it started early on. I was molested at 5. I had ADHD. I was a crazy kid. I was too much for everybody. Trouble in school. I went off and in college got gang raped, drugged and gang raped. And then I just started choosing bad relationships, probably because of my relationship with my dad, which, I loved him. He was never present really. And I made a lot of bad choices, and that probably went on until I was 59 when I met Joe. Seriously, I had done a lot of work. When I was in 2007, I lost my house to wildfire. 2 months later, was diagnosed with breast cancer, and about 2 years previous to that, I had started the journey of I was so miserable. I just was unhappy, miserable, abusive, toxic relationships. My daughter's dad, narcissist, sociopath. It was one thing after the other. And I finally got to the point where I was on my knees, asking God, spirit, whatever was out there to help me and guide me, because I knew that if I stayed in these relationships and I kept doing these things, that I would probably die, from something worse than breast cancer. So, the thing that I want to share with people right now is that when you're in those challenges, they seem horrible. And like you said, they're not sent to define you, but they're sent to refine you. That means you have to actually take action. And what was the lesson? And I know this sounds really bad because some people lose children, but there's always a reason. We are the ones that are hurting. The people who leave are fine. It's just this human perspective. And we're human. That's the way it is. So after that happened, and then in 2019, I almost died from neural Lyme disease, and I found out that I had it in my body my whole life. So everybody had called me a hypochondriac my whole life. Nobody knew it was wrong. I had a lot of symptoms. So when I found out, I cried. I was like, well, I wasn't wrong. There was something happening. And then, of course, COVID hit. Joe was going through a 3-year horrific abusive divorce. It was one thing after the other. And that was different because that's after I wrote Your Turning Point. And I had been through leadership training. Like, one thing I do, which hopefully most of your viewers do, is that we keep working on ourselves. We're trying to excavate the emotional trauma and the wounds and get to the love. And, it seems like it's a never ending process, which I think it is. But I do think we get better and better. Our choices are better when we lose some of that attachment to stuff. Your attraction becomes more attractive. The energy of the universe brings better things to you when you get to be in a better place.
Yeah.
Does it mean I'm a perfect person? No. You heard me this morning ranting about Facebook, but we won't go there. So I have my soapbox, but all of that stuff really led me to writing this chapter in this book, and also to leaving. I was a professional singer for 40 years. Then I went into coaching, building my coaching business for about 10 years. And I was a good coach. I just didn't like it. I didn't like people not showing up, or people blaming me for their failures. And I was just like, I'm over this. I'm so over this. So when I got sick and then COVID hit, that's when I decided I'm not doing anything I don't want to do. I'm not doing anything that doesn't make me happy, that's heavy. And I'm going to move into an area that's, there are a lot of stigmas around it, but I decided I was going to break through it anyway. And that was my art.
I love it.
Was that short enough?
No, you know what? Because I love the fact that you broke through the stigma, right, of art. And a lot of people, art is such a beautiful, beautiful space for us. And where there's so many limitations, I think it's not limitations, it's the beliefs that limit artists.
Exactly.
And And I think I'm so happy that you found your purpose,
Me too.
because a lot of us shy away from that
Yeah.
due to other people's beliefs. And then when we step into that space, it opens up a whole new world. And I know so many of my clients who are artists and who would love to find their purpose and really step out. And I feel like, the challenges that you went through, it's this very similar. Like, I feel like I'm hearing similar stories. And I've had similar stories as well. And so we share this space, right? We share this space with each other. And radical freedom is all about finding your space, finding yourself. And you did that even with all these things going on and all these challenges, especially the health challenges,
Yeah.
where nobody can find the answers. That's
That's
like,
ongoing.
yeah,
Yeah.
welcome to conventional medicine, right?
Yeah. Right.
But so radical freedom, why is it so important to live in that space?
Well, I wrote the chapter because actually the chapter is called "Saying Yes to Living a Radically Free Life," because I used to be a yes to success coach too. I went through all my different phases.
Ah,
And yes, so many of us creatives have very similar stories, which I love because it really brings us together. We're these sensitive, beautiful, creative beings. Everybody is creative, by the way, even if you don't
yes.
think you are, right? I'm a total creative, which doesn't help me because I hate tech and math and all that kind of stuff.
Right. I was going to say, if you're creative, you can't do tech.
I mean, I could do it, but it just,
You don't want to.
But the thing is, too, I want to share with people to think about this, that we think about freedom as, oh, I'm free, I can go do
Yeah.
what I want to do. So, but freedom is physical, it's also emotional and mental and spiritual.
Yeah.
So you have to think about all the different aspects of it. And when you truly reach that point, and again, we're all work in progress, things really start to open up because freedom and creativity and all those lovely things lead you to a deeper connection with spirit, with the universe, with your divine inner guidance that you have to hear that gets you where you are supposed to go. So saying yes, even though you're afraid, putting those stigmas behind, like I was a musician for 40 years. You can't make money doing what you love. You can't make money as an artist, a musician, any of that kind of stuff. And there are a lot of people that are making big money doing all of it. And then your own thoughts about your self-worth. I mean, you got to look at, where you're coming from, your fear of success, all of that stuff comes into play. And that's where I always have coaches and I don't want to go into the world of coaching because right now there are a lot of coaches out there that are spiritual bypassers. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
But let's just say this. There are coaches that are good. There are also people who can support you on your journey. And there are really great people doing all kinds of things like EFT, just all kinds of clearing techniques, to help with the thoughts, because we always have to manage our mindset. And then, the biggest thing is that we need to make a choice. Time is short. Choose the life that you want to live, because someday you're going to be on your deathbed. Are you going to have regrets?
Yeah.
So
I agree. I mean, it's all about living authentically. I mean, that's the central theme of your chapter. And so what advice would you have to those struggling to embrace like their true self?
well, I have 5 steps that I wrote about that I thought were really important. Some are very practical and some are very, a little more etheric, I guess you want to call it. But the first one that I wanted to talk about was what I was just speaking about. And that is, I kind of call it mindset journaling. Because if you don't know yourself, you're always blaming other people. Things happen and you think they're happening to you. I always say this, and a lot of people say it, life is happening for you, not to you.
Exactly.
Which is difficult to, grasp at times. But if you don't ask questions, like what is holding me back, or what are my biggest dreams? We never explore about ourselves, right? We get therapy and we do all kinds of things, but we never really touch upon who are we? What are we afraid of? What makes us up? What makes us tick? What are our thoughts daily? We all have these thoughts, right? These thousands of thoughts daily that are on loops, literally. Have you ever you've been doing something and all of a sudden you'll realize you're thinking about something really strange that has nothing to do with anything. And you can either grab onto it or you can let go of it. So sometimes you don't even know you're doing it, and that creates, right? So also writing down, possibilities. Like, what if I make this choice for myself? What if I say yes to radical freedom, to losing the job that I hate, that's toxic? My daughter recently did this. She was working, and she's gone to school, but COVID, she was an esthetician and some other things. COVID kind of interrupted everything. And she's also a gorgeous metalsmith, and she's just been doing it for years. And she decided, I don't want to work for people anymore who control my life and are mean to me and don't have good rules. So she made the choice. And at 30, 20, almost 30, that's a big choice to make, but it's a big choice for everyone.
Yeah.
And then, I was asked the questions like, why not me? Why couldn't I be one of the ones who make it? And do you know Mendy Odlin, Joan, our dear friend? She wrote a book called What If It All Goes Right?
Uh-huh.
And we're on the board of her nonprofit because it's such a powerful practice.
Wow.
You know how we what if down? Well, what if I get sick and die? Or what if my money runs out and I can't get a job? Like we are automatically
thinking that way.
Yeah, to the what if down.
Yeah.
But what if it all goes right? What if you have more money come in than you could imagine? What if your health improves? When you start using that literally as a practice and you get into the fun and the magic, you can feel, and this is going to also be part of my 5th step, you can feel the energy raise. You can feel your whole body because you're not tuning into the negatives and the what if downs. You're tapping into the magic of who you really are.
I think we do that too often to ourselves, and we make assumptions and our mind just goes down this spiral. So what if we go in an upward spiral rather than a downward spiral? And I think that is a great, I love the steps to radical freedom. So guys, if this is something that resonates with you, please do put it in the comments. I know there's many of you here. Hello, Charanjit. Hello, Joe. So good to see you. We're here talking to Lisa Winston about the 5 steps to a radically free life. And I know many of you are dealing with different, health issues to relationship, to anything going on in your life, your career, and you're ready to make changes, you're ready to make the choices, and maybe you're not, but hopefully this will help you in doing so, because when you hear someone else's story and you hear their wisdom and their knowledge of what they have learned, it really opens your eyes up like, oh wow, if you could do it, I can too, because you know what, I relate to you. I know what you're going through. I understand you. So, why can't I? And saying yes, that's one of the things you pointed out, Lisa, was saying yes. And I had to learn to do that. For the last 2-3 years, I had just been telling myself no to so many things, and because of fear, right? Why do we say no? Because there's a deep fear that we haven't understood why it's there. And so when we understand that fear, then we can actually heal it and then start saying yes to life.
Yes.
And when we make that choice, right? Because it's a choice. When we make certain choices of the yeses, more comes to us and more doors open up. And then you're like, oh my God, how did that happen? Well, duh. I said yes. I started saying yes, and the universe heard me. Hello.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Did you want me to go through all the steps real quickly?
I would love for you to.
I want to explain a couple. I'll just be brief.
Yes, please.
We're limited on our time. But okay, so mindset journaling and then going through the possibilities questions. Second one is very practical step is prepare. If you're getting ready to leave a relationship, a job, anything, you've got to be practical, right? The universe provides, but you got to be practical, like get support, a friend, a therapist, somebody. You have a plan. Put money in a savings account so that if you leave, you have some money back. I always tell my daughter this because I had to do that as a musician for so many years. Also, immerse yourself in books and things like that keep your, your vibrations high. Focus on what you want as opposed to what you don't want, right? Because
I agree.
Yeah, what we focus on grows.
Yeah.
Okay, 3, creativity is key. It's key. Creativity is the magic sauce that literally opens the doors to everything. It connects us to the divine. Imagination creates, we get bigger ideas and we get more creative, we get more bold. Creativity, people, is not just art, it's gardening, cooking. Some people make video games, whatever it is that you're passionate about that you could do for hours. Like you remember when you were a kid and you played in the sandbox and you lost track of time, right? And so anyway, to me, creativity is literally the magic key to everything. And if you don't do it, even doodle, script, do something to start. Even like I said, even if you think your art stinks, you can draw, you can paint, you can color, you can do all kinds of fun things. Number 4, future gratitude. This is huge. Joe calls it, my partner, Dr. Joe Vitale, calls it feel it real. And this is so powerful. Now, I don't do a lot of journaling anymore because I've had trouble with carpal tunnel, so I have trouble writing. I know our friend Jess and coach, she writes books and thousands of pages and she does miraculous things. Not for me, I can't do it. But with future gratitude, it's this, you have to do it, right? It's an easy practice. So say I want to have an art studio by the ocean with these floor to ceiling, and I've thought about this, but I haven't really, worked on it. And sometimes we say to ourselves, well, that's impossible. Well, everything's impossible if you just don't do it, right?
Right.
When you do it as a practice, you don't say, I'm doing this now and I'm walking through this now. You're in it. You actually are in it. I am in this. Oh my God, I can't believe that I have this unbelievable, huge, bright, open, airy studio that's overlooking the ocean. It has all the room I need. I am in heaven. Like when I have goosebumps.
I'm like breathing that breeze in the beach.
Like when you want something and you can just pick one thing and play with that and elevate. For me, I think speaking it is so powerful because it elevates my vibes. I can feel it, and then all of a sudden your brain after a while will flip. Oh, well, this might be possible. Remember, we don't have to know about the hows. It's about the connecting to the universe, and the universe has the answers, right?
Yes.
Another huge one. And the very last one for me and for everybody, I think, is to follow your inner guidance. I've been teaching intuition for years and years and years because I never used to follow mine. You get that little hit in your ear, get off the freeway now. And you're like, why? And then there's an accident up there and you should have listened, right? Well, I had something happen with my daughter that almost put her in harm's way. And I was so devastated by it because I didn't listen to my guidance that I started listening. And then when you say yes to the universe says yes to you. You start getting what we call downloads, as you know, downloads, hits, things that come in, this voice, and the universal mind. Remember, your mind only has so many answers. It's stuff that it remembers from the past. It doesn't have answers for the future or ideas. So you want to connect to the universal mind to get your answers and the wisdom. So learn to trust the voice, follow the synchronicities, which are those tiny little breadcrumbs that take you from one place to the next place to the next place, and you will get where it is you want to go. And for me, I think those 5 things are the most basic things that you can start to do to move into living a radically free life, saying yes to the old stuff. I love that quote. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's remember who you were before the world told you who you were supposed to be.
I love that.
You have all the power. You have all the answers. You have all the wisdom and the magic. You've just lost it because a lot of people told you otherwise.
Yeah. I completely resonate with that. And what I want to do is share, guys, if you if you start practicing these 5 steps, I think even tonight, like if you just start somewhere, even if you start practicing with the first step, mindset journaling, right? We got to start somewhere because we all have a goal. We all have a desire. There's something we want in our lives. And I love number 3 is future gratitude. That's what I've been doing about, speaking on stage and all these opportunities are coming to me because I see myself doing it, even though I may not be, and I may be having some things here and there, but I see myself out there in big audiences and I continue to put it out there in the universe. And so we'll see what happens. But I love these 5 steps and I hope that everyone will start incorporating them. The first one was mindset journaling. Second was prepare. So basically like take action, right? And then number 3 was creativity. Number 4 was future gratitude. And number 3 was listen to your inner guidance, your intuition. And so take any one of those steps, whatever resonates with you. Start somewhere, a little bit, and then just build upon that. That's what we have to do to get where we want in our lives. And it's so, so crucial. So here's the book. I just want to share that with everyone. It's a creative, radical freedom. Let go of who you were and set your creative soul free. And I'm also going to put the link. I already put the link in the comments. And as you guys know, the comments go all the way to the top, whatever comments I make. And if you want the link, just go ahead and put link in the comments, whether you're going to be watching the replay or you're here live. I'll go ahead and make sure and message that replay to you. The link to you for the book after we are done here. I believe, I can't remember I think on Kindle, it's 99 cents. You could get it on Kindle. And then it's, I'm just looking it up, guys.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
So $12.15 for the paperback.
Exactly. And so this will change your life. I know it has changed mine. And there are many, many authors in the book that have great advice. And so I highly recommend that you pick up this book so that you can unleash your soul and find your purpose in life. It is a fun and easy read. So make sure to grab your book today. Now, my question is, what do you hope readers do take away besides these 5 steps? Is there anything specific that you want them to know as they go into reading this or even after?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, because I want to show you, okay, you said it was an easy read, and it is, but it has 101 authors. It's bigger than an encyclopedia. Okay, so when I got it, I've never had one this big. I'm like, what? What you want to do is, if there's 101 people who with their wisdom in there, and what Joe and I did with the very first creative book, life book that I was in, was we told people, kind of like, you do, it's like a game. Which chapter do I need to read today? And then you open up 51, the frequency of freedom. No kidding. I just opened it. Well, thank you for that. It's a game. Like if you want to read one story a day, and they're very short stories, they're like 2 pages, or one a week, whatever it is. Ask the universe, what am I supposed to read today? Pick the page, read that one for each day. So just make it a ongoing kind of a thing.
I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea because you could get overwhelmed by the thickness of the book, right? Like, oh my God, I got to read all this. So thank you. That's a great way. And I really do appreciate you being here, Lisa, taking the time to share with us how we can step into a radically free life. This was amazing. Thank you so much for your time and all your knowledge. And thank you guys for being here, as always, supporting us at Deepal Shah. And we'll see you next week for healings and readings. And that will be at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye, everybody.